the pop-up show.
It's a pop-up show.
It's the pop-up show.
Pop, pop, pop.
It's the pop-up show.
Pop, pop, pop. Show.
It's the pop-up show.
Something's happening, something going on.
TTNL back live to get it on.
$7 a month, don't need a coupon.
We worldwide, the flag's waving strong.
Surprising your patient with breaking news.
Bring a whole lot of truth, no pay-per-views.
Could be called Shane or DDB.
Just another branch on this family tree.
The tape never lies like a boy JC.
No narratives allow how we rock the beat.
Breaking news on time, now we ain't no bullets.
Jealous networks make us out to be villains.
Unbreakable truths like a man Bruce Willis.
We stand tall in the city like the Willis.
Tower, over the competition we devour.
Rinse every time like the slide on Ben's hour.
Others fall asleep when the apple is bit. We're taking out the frauds who here to Great Britain. You can't run that eye, brother, who are you shin? Patrons of the truth, this network spin.
Old man reporting live from the dungeons. We keep it real, tears from chopping onions. Bears Nation on the rise, be on the coverage. Hot off the press, hot fresh out the oven. It's the pop-up show.
Pop, pop.
It's the pop-up show.
Pop, pop, pop.
It's the pop-up show.
The pop-up.
It's the pop-up show.
Pop.
It's the pop-up show.
Pop, pop.
It's the pop-up show.
What?
It's the pop-up show.
Pop, pop, pop.
It's the pop-up show.
TTNL.
Pop 2.0.
Top pop. I was at lunch. Now I'm back. There's.
Show just started and we're out the gate with dumb comments.
Oh my God.
Don't pay for pressure players. Come on. Yeah, that's kind of the name of the game.
Free agency frenzy here at TTNL. Yeah. Let's chill, homie. Nerves. You obviously have a lot of nerves because you are so worn out by pressures versus we went through this was probably I said at the time, and obviously Khalil Mack went back to the Chargers, but you know, the same type of people were talking about Khalil Mack's inability to finish or make sacks, basically stat scout. And if you're going to love TTNL like Isaiah Pyron does, then you're going to understand that we're not going to play a game of meatball. We're also going to recognize the reality. I'm upset that we didn't get into the Laramie trade, but that's who I am. You know,
Chubbs is off the medication. Everything fully functional now. He's happy.
Yes, he's back. He's on the dating. Farmers only. He's back.
Watch out, ladies.
It's a pop-up show. I don't know how you can't be excited because we had Big Olin Kreutz on here a couple weeks ago, and we talked about how does Ryan Poles, and I'm the biggest guy talking about, I don't feel comfortable with Ryan Poles. I said that. You're going to have to show me. I don't know which state is the show me state. I think it's Missouri, where our boy Cars went to school. But that's what I wanted to see. Show me that you are going to build the inside out. You go out there, you hit a home run with your center. And listen, I'm a big Josh fan from the Packers. Dalman clearly was in their scope. That's how they paid him. Josh Myers. Right behind Myers for me is Dalman. So listen, that's where they and their crew assessed it. That's all I can ask for is that you've upgraded the center position. You've rebuilt an extreme makeover on the interior of your offensive line, where the struggles for the Chicago Bears have been, not only in the run game, but in the pass game, in the coaching games. So you go out there, you trade for a 4-time All-Pro, an alpha in the locker room. You trade for someone you get in front of the big money, and who knows? To Wednesday, they can announce Shane a huge extension for Joe Tooney and pay him. And I'm sure that's coming. But you get out in front of the guard money and you get into this. building your front to protect the franchise. And that's Caleb Williams. You gotta be able to do it. And you gotta love it. And Jonah Jackson, known commodity with Coach Ben Johnson. And trust me, no coach worth a damn is going to go out and trade draft capital for someone they don't fully believe in. And I know, Bears fans, you have the gridiron assassins of the world, the contrarian living librarians. You're always going to play John Yurkovic in your head and just think negative. And that's okay. But if you're pitching in the strike zone, there's strikes. That's all I wanted. Pitch in the areas of need. And they did that. Get someone you know. He either plays right guard or left guard. Tooney decides. And then you get your center right there. Drew Dalman, 3 years, $42 million, 28 guaranteed. I don't give a fuck about any contract or what they paid because we have proven time and time again. The cap is going up, and just look at the world champions. Just look at them. Stop fucking around in your shitty.
They lost Milton Williams and Josh Sweat today. And do you think it's even a blip on their radar?
No.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they are going to attack the draft, spend money, keep critical pillar pieces, and let other pieces go. Us, these little nerd micropod bear networks out there that are going to start worrying, you fill them in. I don't really like what we paid here. Okay.
Well, that's
does that matter next season on a Sunday? Does it? No.
Yeah, and none of these guys are, wildly overpaid. I was very open earlier talking about Drew Dalman. I wasn't in the camp of 18 to 20 million per. The Bears obviously were not either. I didn't want to pay Josh Sweat with, up around where he was. But, talking about Dayo Odeyingbo, if I'm saying it correct. Everybody keeps on talking about how this is a DeMarcus Walker clone, and it's not. It's not. This kid's 6'6", 287 pounds, 25 years old, and playing with who in Indy?
I don't know who. Quiddy Pay?
Well, yeah, Bullets is excited, but this is the thing: if you're gonna roll the dice on some guys, you roll dice on guys like that. This is a guy he's versatile. He can play inside. He can play outside. What are they going to do? You're going to see a package, Phil, this year when you see Gervon Dexter outside again with Montez Sweat and Odeyingbo on the line.
Right.
With those guys. They're going to mix and match. This is Dennis Allen's wet dream, having guys like this. And then you bring in the little fireball ultimate leader, Grady Jarrett, that nobody saw coming. He was released this morning, and he cashed in already. And I look at I've heard a lot of people complain about the age, 31 years old. This is what happens when you have a roster in a locker room that isn't good. Now you have an alpha in Grady Jarrett on the defensive line. Now you have an alpha in Joe Tooney on the offensive line. Phil, you think they're both going to be captains?
Well, they should. I said to you on the phone, driving home, I'm like, Grady Jarrett is like getting Tooney on the other side.
Right.
So now you have a locker room leader. I don't need to quote the Falcons beat reporter. You all have probably heard about it. That this guy's a locker room leader.
Right. And Nerves HD. I know you said that you post here all the time. I've looked it up. You've had 4 comments now on our channels, and they were all today. So we can address that part of it. Go beyond. You are on a network commenting that's called the Tape Never Lies Network. It's not about stats. It's about what you see on tape and what you show everybody on tape. This is a young ascending player. DeMarcus Walker didn't come here at 25 years old. So there's a difference. Just be honest. You're a stat scout. You heard they signed him. You had never heard of him before.
Right to the
you went to the stats and said, oh, he didn't have many sacks. He sucks. That's what happens 95% of the time. You're not going to get that here. And I'm not trying to single you out, but this is the beast that we fight every day here on this network with people that say it's all about stats, or this guy's 31. He's trash. Joe Tooney is 32. He's trash. He didn't have 20 sacks. He's trash. It doesn't work that way. You would have been happy with Josh Sweat because he was a big name and almost MVP of the Super Bowl. Who was he playing with in Philly? He was surrounded with elite level talent. Is he going to get that benefit in Arizona with a massive financial package that comes along with him? No, it's part of it. It goes beyond stats. That's what we are not about that. It's not the stats never lie, because they do all the time.
Anybody could take numbers and manipulate them to the narrative that they want. We've proven that time and time again. And again, I know Shane's pointing out nerves, but this is across the board. People are like, who? What? He stats? Say his athletic stats. He's 6'6" in a defense, and what, 289, almost 290?
287, yeah.
287, almost 290-pound guy that's going to bring versatility to a Dennis Allen attack-based defense. This isn't, we're going to rush 4 and try to win and play cover 2 behind it 84% of the time. This defense is a whole different brand of football, unlike what the Colts are playing. So when you look and identify traits and scouts and the time that they're watching tape, the Bears aren't, and I know in the past you've been burned, okay? But you've also been successful.
Phil, real quick, just some Chicago Bears breaking news.
Yes.
The Chicago Bears have signed defensive back Tavarius Moore to a 1-year contract extension.
Yes, Sean Stewart. I put it up there when you were.
All right, that's it.
Stewart put it up. But you look at what the Chicago Bears did. I just want to take him. OD. I'm going to mess this dude's name up more than freaking anybody probably. But Dayo. Daylight come, man. He's going to come in here and bring that size to the edge that you lack. He's young, which Shane has talked about. Instead of going after a guy in Sweat who's probably 248 pounds, you identified a guy on the ascension level of his ability at 6'6", 290 pounds and can play inside. So they're obviously projecting this guy to be a big, big part of what it is you do defensively. And you have to have that voice in the room. We talked about this. And I know you're new to the network, or you just listen, but you have to involve your defensive coordinator as the head coach in the assessment of what it is you want to add to the building. That goes first and foremost. We start by watching what we got. Let's go back and watch last year's and the year before that's tape. And Dennis Allen, I want you to watch all the defense. And I want you to tell me who you think should come back or who you believe has a shot. And then from there, we're going to sit down with our pro personnel side, Jeff King. And he's going to show you what you want. Well, what do you want? What do you want? Well, I want length on the edge. I want aggressiveness on the edge. Okay, we have Montez. I love Montez. I like what I got in Billings. Jervon is giving me something. This area, Booker, he's got to be a finisher. All of that stuff goes into this. Now you add the veteran,
right? And this
Jarrett.
And the play off of this too, because Sean Stewart makes a great point here, Phil. Right
He
here.
really does, this guy.
None of these guys prevent us from drafting young players at these same positions. This is my point when you're talking about Philadelphia. They lost Milton Williams and Josh Sweat today. Milton Williams is the highest paid player in the history of the New England Patriots. Let that sink in. Higher than Tom Brady. They lost both of those guys today, and it's not a blip on their radar because trenches matter on both sides of the ball. That's why everybody's saying that
we said here. You gotta fucking build the trenches.
Keep throwing guys at. You cannot go away from it. You can't.
Flash is going in there admitting the shit. That's why you come here. Myself, Ivan, will be cutting tape to show you what Joe Tooney, what Dalman, what Dayo, and Grady Jarrett are going to bring to the table. I always remind people of this, and I have had to do it for the last 35 plus years of coaching football and playing the game. What you add to a team sport is the potential. When you get that cohesiveness, Dayo, it's no different than saying, okay, we signed Becton last year. You don't think Lane Johnson helped Becton be a better football player? So the investment in Becton was worth it. When some asshole is looking at his stat, well, he was terrible with the Jets. He was hurt a lot. Well, how did he do last year? Because he found his place on a team. The culture is important. How you build a football team could be several different ways. But how the Bears have done it has been a failure because they've always done outside in. And they've never had a quarterback like this. So it's just that simple. You have not had a center in Chicago like this since Olin. And I'll be the first one. How am I not involved in fucking Laramie Tunsil trade? Because then I just have a parade outside if you got Tunsil as well. But that's my 2 cents. I'd rather have Tunsil than Tooney, if you want to put it truthfully, because that's how big of a believer I am in Laramie Tunsil. But it is what it is. That's just me being honest. And that's where we are integrity-wise, getting to this point of the Chicago Bears offseason, which is supposedly the beginning tampering stages. Shane, don't say tampering.
Yeah, thanks, Greg.
You might get a lawsuit.
Yeah, I better check my DMs.
But before you judge or stat scout, watch the identifier of a talent that you're going to fit in your defensive philosophy. Shane, you had talked about it. You were so against Sweat, not Montez, Josh.
Yeah, I was.
It just putting a big investment. He's a smaller guy. He's a rotational piece. This guy is a body that can withstand the punishment, set the edge, and become an aggressive force that you might not see in his stat scouts right now. He's an ascending football player. That's what you want. Your interior force, you hit a home run with Grady Jarrett. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, and that's Phil. That's what we talked about, and it Grady Jarrett's production on the field, it goes beyond that.
What are his stats to sack the quarter?
It's not about that. And somebody in the chat said that his best football is behind him and he's old. Atlanta was trying to clear as much space as possible. Why? Because they were trying to get Drew Dalman back. And
So you took-
by the way, I don't know
took a
if
two-piece from him.
I don't know if everybody knows this. Ian Rappaport reported it. Tom Pelissero reported it. Drew Dalman had a contract on the table from another team for more money than he got from Chicago.
He
And he
wanted
chose
to
to
come
be
to
here.
Chicago.
Why? Because he wanted to block in Ben Johnson's offense for Caleb Williams.
Same
His
thing,
words.
Joe Tooney. Did you hear what he had to say?
Yeah, I mean, with it,
Andy Reid, he wanted to go to Chicago. So there's a want. I'm not used to that. I'm used to that side grin. I want to go to Chicago. They offered me the most money. That's what we're used to. So,
and you can see this is Olin Kreutz. I know I didn't expand the size of it, but when the Bears were announcing the offensive line, when they announced Drew Dalman, that was Olin Kreutz's tweet. A handful of seconds later was Tony Soprano, drawing back on the old stick.
There you go. You're getting to the level of where my fear was, and you've quelled it by addressing the trenches. You build through the trenches. You do not go any other way once you've had your quarterback. It's the Holy Trinity. Now, the second part of that Holy Trinity is pass rusher. So you went out there, addressed it. Now you're setting yourself up perfectly to what Sean Stewart is talking about in regards to, hey, at 10, we could go a numerous amount of ways. I walk in the house, my son Tate, it's like, Dad, it looks like they're setting it up to be Ashton Genty at 10. And I'm like, this kid's 11 years old, just turned 11, and he's putting it together. I was proud of him. I go, you know what? You're right. It could be based on what they're doing on the first day of free agency. Not saying it is.
And I say shit. I say shut up, Tate. That's what I say to that.
Unbridled comment. Asked Steph walking in my door, and I'm like, you know what? That could be true. It's not out of the question now, but you have to see who's on the board at that point. If Mason Graham is there, now you got Grady Jackson, Billings, Graham. It's going to be what they're doing right now is freeing themselves up to truly take the best player on your fucking board. I go back to last year with Brock Bowers. When you have elite level talent that you've identified as such, I'm not debating with 742 Tom on Twitter. I'm talking about you in the room have debated and analyzed and gone through the tape, and there's somebody in there that's just on another level, and you already have 4 receivers. You got to take that 5th guy because you just have to do it. You just have to do it when there's that kind of separation. A lot of these GMs won't do it, and that's where and why the Eagles win, because that's what they do. Oh, we have 6 guys kind of even. We'll trade back.
Right. And this is the thing. And I'll just bring this up. Oh, that wasn't the same one.
What if Banks and Membu?
Yeah, no. I'm not saying that we're not going to go get a running back. This is the deepest running back class maybe ever. You can get one at 39 or 41 or even 72 that I'm perfectly content with. I am not going away from the trenches at number 10 to draft a running back. I'm just not. I'm just not.
I'm just letting you know that if they rank him that high, they're
I'm not
right.
saying they. I'm saying me.
You
I'm
as
saying
the
me.
GM, yes.
Yeah.
But right now, with what they did, 3 offensive linemen right inside. Boom, boom, boom. Guard, center, guard. I mean, we're talking like talented. Then you get a defensive tackle and defensive end. That's 5 guys. Don't forget the kid Williams. They traded for with Cleveland last year. He comes in here.
Chris.
They re-signed him, right? Chris Williams.
Yeah, they gave him he had a restricted tender.
That kid played some good.
He did.
He put out some good tape.
You think he's gonna learn anything from Grady Jarrett?
Exactly. Like those guys get forgotten. But that kid put some good shit on tape. Like that was a kid. I was like, okay, you traded for him. Now you're cooking with the interior of what it is you're building defensively under this defense. Don't think that you can't say, okay, this is the highest graded guy. It's going to be the most exciting draft because I want to see where their board is.
It is wide open. Phil, if you go back to some of our shows, I talked about, is there a possibility of Genty? Yes, there is, depending on how free agency goes. I'm saying, and there's not a bigger fan of Genty than I am. But the Bears have a chance to throw.
Oh, you did get Smythe too. I forgot.
Yep, Durham Smythe. To the 1-year deal.
An underrated blocker, and we know how Cole Kmet blocks. He blocks like John Yurkovich does with fucking food. Non-existent. It's taking it all in. So I forgot about that. So you've hit Shane first and foremost. Let me ask you this for shits and giggles.
Mm-hmm.
Gun to your head. Tight end from Penn State and Genty are there. Who are you taking?
If I could only pick from those two?
Yeah, from those two. The GM, you're the...
Yeah, I would pick Genty.
Okay. I would do the same thing. We're on the same page then.
But I mean,
if you were gonna be Tyler, I was gonna be like, oh,
I'm not. Well, let's bring in the judge, jury, and executioner here that's sitting in the background and
I got to star James Daniel. Daniel looked like he could play a little guard for us too.
He could. Let me bring our guy out
there
here.
Straight from the court.
I have a feeling that
what's up, boys?
I have a feeling Mr. Vargas is on my side on this in terms of no running back at 10. But Ivan, if you're not, take it away.
No, I'm 100% on your side. I've been talking myself into it, and I think I'm settled on what I feel like they should go after. Defensive end. Like you have a high end potential with some of these guys in the first round. And once you slip out of that first round, it gets real,
falls
sketchy.
Off big time.
It gets real sketchy and it falls off. So
and guess what doesn't? Running
back. I'm telling you, Shane, on the head, dude, you hit it because you could find running backs, and you mentioned 72. I'm talking you could find running backs 4th, 5th round. Possibly if you went down that far and you found a guy that you think could pop for you, a 6th round guy. There's so many running backs that you could choose from. I'm cutting running backs right now, and it's pissing me off because I keep running into running backs. Yeah. It's like the never ending line of running backs this year. But it's so deep that you could go ahead and wait for that pick. Especially if you have a guy like a Judkins, a Sampson that might fall a little bit, depending on. Like that's kind of where they're then projecting them, but we'll see. Nonetheless, like you can find running backs later in the draft and don't have to gamble. And I wouldn't really call it gambling because I think Genty will be a good, solid running back in the league. But you don't have to reach when you have a deep class of running backs and you have a very top-heavy class of defensive ends that, to be honest with you, I think a couple of them are going to be stars.
Well, let me turn this around on you, Phil. You asked me.
You're always asking me questions.
the Bears go out and sign a wide receiver and maybe another backup offensive lineman and whatever in free agency, and then a draft day comes up and Ashton Genty is available at number 10.
Yep.
And Kelvin Banks is there. Who you drafting?
I'm drafting Kelvin Banks.
Exactly.
I'm just
100%.
Exactly. It's not that fucking hard. It's not.
He's the best tackle in this draft.
Put Quinshon
and he's the
Judkins with
closest
Calvin
to-
Banks and the rest of these guys. And who's complaining?
Nobody.
Oh,
Put Henderson.
listen.
Put Trayvon Henderson.
Yeah,
Put Cam-
I wouldn't be.
If
you know,
I
either
am
one of them.
if I'm the GM, that's what I'm doing. Kelvin Banks, guys, is Laramie Tunsil level athlete. It's on that level. I mean, if you're not a patron, go over to the tapeneverlies.com right now, become a patron, because you're not getting the bullshit rigmarole of the stat scout or the 5/8 of an inch of Campbell's arms are going to. Campbell is a left tackle. He is an absolute tackle. That if maybe you're going to move him to guard at some point, that's fine. But he is a tackle, can play tackle, has done it. Okay. But Kelvin Banks is on another level. I mean, I drool at the 20-year-old, just turned 21, right, Shane? Today's
Today.
his 21-year-old doing things on tape that most people can't see.
with the length and the strength.
Yeah.
Look at you rhyming. Fucking love you.
I know, right?
Length, strength, and amazing feet.
Yep.
I
Only
wish
time that's
it
ever going to happen, though, Phil. Like,
And I don't cut baits.
Why would you cut
Yeah,
Banks?
it doesn't make any sense to, because he
If you don't have
provides
to.
you. Yeah, he provides you positional versatility.
He
Didn't
can
play,
jump in
wasn't
at
healthy,
guard if there's an injury.
or center,
Center.
or whatever. Yeah, it makes no sense to, and it's buying you time with Karan Amagaji. I talked about this earlier with Cars when we went live, Phil. If this was back in the day and Jerry Angelo was running this team, and you went to the offseason, guess who our starting left tackle is this year? It's Amagaji, without a doubt, because they invested in him last year as a third-round draft pick. That's where that would be their pivot. You don't have to do that. You don't have to. Having quality depth on the offensive line, imagine the logistics of that as a Bears fan. On the defensive line, imagine being able to throw multiple bodies out there in waves. Look at the team that just won the Super Bowl. Kind of fun, right?
Oh, yeah. It's great to have a pass rush.
Patrick Mahomes, did you enjoy it?
He did not. I don't know if Don is trying to be sarcastic,
Sure he is.
but I thought Keenan Allen really was one of the brighter.
Yeah, he was. He had his warts earlier and got better. He was catching everything late.
Right. He was creating moving the change moments that needed to happen.
Who was Caleb's security blanket?
It was him.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked if they re-sign him. I wouldn't be upset if they did.
Yeah. Well, Cars and I talked
kind
about
of
this.
would.
I
wouldn't.
think I'm siding with Ivan a little bit, because when I look at Keenan Allen, I don't think he's interested in taking a team-friendly deal at all.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that he's going to hit the fair market. I don't mind.
His problem is he came out and said he only wants to play in LA or Chicago. He said that publicly, which that can change, obviously. But
Right.
yeah,
I
we'll
think
see.
you could find a possession type receiver if that's what you want to do in this draft. I'm not saying that that's where they go.
Yeah,
But you can find a possession type receiver in the later rounds in this draft if you want to, find a young guy that you could develop and be next to Caleb and Rome for this, for the future. So,
Listen,
not saying they're going to be Keenan Allen, but
not to I'll finish this off. I just believe that when you have a young quarterback like that and there's some sort of security, then you could buy into that and pay a little extra. When people come on here and talk about, well, this was
Kyle
a
Williams.
little overpaid. That's a little free agency is that. You're overpaying. That's
it's
the
what it
whole
is.
game of it. So
Right.
stop looking at stats and salaries and understand that there's always some sort of written ability to get rid of some cap and put it there. We see it every year. Let's get players. Let's get leaders. Let's get linemen. They go out and do it, and we have little complaining, narcissistic bullshit that is going to put this pessimistic level on top of it. Sprinkle it on top. Oh, he's going to suck. You don't know what's going to happen. Look, I'm just speaking in regards to Dayo. Like,
Phil, I'm positive
they did their work on this guy.
75% of the fan base sees a signing and they turn Madden on and go look at his attributes. They'd be like, fuck, Grady Jarrett's an 81. What is Poles doing? What is he doing?
That's the
Like the Jets, like the
Tate
Jets.
was happy with an 81.
Yeah.
Tate was happy, considering Caleb Williams is what, a 78?
No, 70. He's a 75. He's ranked
God.
lower than Drake May and
That's pathetic.
Michael Penix. I think
We
he's
got
tied with Michael
Chris
Penix.
Canty doing Madden ratings now. Hold on. Let's get Mike Greenberg in here. Here's a big name. Let him do the Madden rankings.
I'll just let you know my top rusher. You know, I won't go deep into any rankings. My top rusher is Mike Green. I think Mike Green is the real deal at the
Mike
edge.
Jones.
Yeah, that'd be awesome if his name was Mike Jones.
Wasn't it? That would be the best.
But this is another thing too, you know. In I've heard people say this. We've brought up the name Michael Williams, and people are like, "Oh my God, his production at Georgia is trash." That's what defenders at Georgia do, because they have 5-star on top of 5-star on top of 5-star, and Kirby likes to rotate. Imagine bringing a guy like that, or
I love
Ivan
Michael Williams.
at 20
I
years
love
old.
Mike Green.
Bringing him in to a rotation like this.
Mike Green was my guy.
Exactly. That's what
way
I'm saying.
before the combine and all this other shit. But the off the field concern of the background is that affects it.
Right.
But
And
I'm all for, I told you, stop with the choir boy McCaskey shit.
Yeah.
If he checks out, everybody fucking makes mistakes.
Well, it's gotta when you're investing a top 10 pick and top 10 money, it's gotta be clean.
No, listen, all of these guys aren't.
Same thing with Pierce. We love Pierce, but there's big time.
Well, the whole story of Tennessee being relieved that he's gone.
Well, see, this is where the Bears need. You know, we're talking about change, right? And the Bears have shown some signs of giving people the benefit of the doubt more lately than I think ever. But if they were to go get them, I think that'll be another step in the right direction, because the Bears need assholes. They need guys. I'm not talking about assaulting women. Like I'm talking about guys with an edge, right? I'm talking about guys who have that tenacity, that motor, that is just nonstop. And I think a guy like James Pierce, a guy like Mike Green, overall, I think has that motor. You know what I mean? To me, it has nothing to me. What I'm saying, assault cases aside, because they're going to have to deal with it if they've did it or not. You know what I mean? They're going to have to deal with the law. I'm talking about them as a player. You need maniacs. You need some maniacs on that side of the ball to get the job done. And that's what the Bears have been lacking for a long time. You don't have those dogs that will go 100%. Ahead and smack a motherfucker in the face. If Caleb gets pushed down, now we do on the offensive line. And I think we're finding that more and more on the defensive line as well. But as far as the draft is concerned, you need to draft these guys too. You can't just have choir boys. You need to have some jerks in there.
100%. That's exactly my point. I just hold on this for a second. I want to say this real quick on top of Ivan. You know, what they do in the draft. Let me put this comment up and then bring his back.
Yep.
This is like the most, I don't know what this is, the tone. It's nothing against you, Mike, but this is a lot of no shit. No shit. What? Why even talk about it then? Whatever's going to happen, it's going to happen. That's not what this network is. There's 2 layers of talking analysis, and it's like, what do you think the Bears will do? So you're studying the GM, you're studying the offense and defensive philosophy of the coaches. You're looking at the draft. So that layer goes into it and what they would do based on what it is they're doing in free agency. So that whole side of the sheet is there. Then it goes on this side. We're watching the tape and we're looking at what we would do based on all of the tape we're showing you on the tapeneverlies.com. Go be a patron there. You want someone's write up statistical opinion named Carm? Go do that.
Kind of an interesting trade coming through here.
Breaking news.
The Philadelphia Eagles are trading quarterback Kenny Pickett to the Cleveland Browns for a 2025 fifth-round pick and quarterback Dorian Thompson-Robinson.
Wow. They like this kid, Robinson. Interesting.
Yeah, it
I
is.
love the NFL.
But here's we're gonna answer this. Kyle Gordon, 2-year Patreon member here with the additions to the D line. Where does Booker fit? He fits in perfectly because you're putting him in a role where he can thrive. You want to have the ability,
rusher,
rotate, throw fastballs. Now you're adding quality depth. No pressure on him.
Get a better D line coach. Have him wrap. This kid has a lot of talent.
He does.
There's several plays where he's coming from the backside on an outside zone, running backs cutting back. He's right there, and he throws his right shoulder in. Just throws, dives on the guy. Like, save that shit for Kansas, bro. Wrap the fuck up. Come down and wrap up. That stuff has to be accountable. When you have coaches that don't hold accountable, Kyle, this is lazy and talent gets wasted and ruined. Ben Johnson and Dennis Allen, you say whatever it is you want about Dennis Allen. I'll just say this. The reality is he's a great defensive coordinator.
He's got a type on his defensive ends.
He likes bullies.
Well, he likes, and he's not a guy that's going to bring in probably a defensive end that's, 231 pounds either. He's got some, who Dayo Odeyingbo was compared to coming out in the NFL draft?
Let me guess.
Where'd he pay?
No.
Oh, fuck.
Montez Sweat.
Oh, all right.
Really?
Yes, that was his comp.
Big boy, 6'6", 290, Shane.
Yeah, but you have that. Now you have Jervon Dexter in that. You have, the Bear. It's going to be a different line than we're used to. But then that's what's so interesting is Grady Jarrett, 6 foot 290.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
He's exactly oppo, but you get some attention from those guys on the outside that are eating up space and bodies that can both move very, very well with the little fireball inside. And guess what? What makes Grady Jarrett even better is having him in a rotation where he doesn't have to play as many snaps.
100%. That's where him and Jerry Billings rotate. How about putting my guy in there? Okay. It's 3rd and 1. It's 4th and 1. Now you got Jarrett and Billings clogging up the middle. Now you got the big fella playing a 5 technique, slanting down, taking away the inside. Dayo. listen, I like what they're doing. I think it does set up the talking point. I don't know. I'm not in Ryan Pohl's draft room and how they rank this. But if I'm looking at the past and I'm looking at Ben Johnson, more so than anyone, I believe in Ben based on all of the coaches they've had for the last several years. I'm going to say Ben Johnson is going to put a huge, which he's already showing, priority on running the football. So that says to me, okay, if they love Ashton Genty, you're going to have to be prepared that they might take him, because I'll say this, he is a top 10 football player in the draft. He's in my top 10 rankings of players.
100%.
But what Shane and Ivan are saying, and I agree with them, especially you put the gun to my head with Banks, based on the amount of talent at the position versus pass rusher or offensive tackle, left tackle specifically, you have to make that choice. So how does that weigh? Do you go? For all I know, Calvin Banks is number 3 on their board.
Yeah, if Mason Graham's there, guess what? You fill the fucking card out, you turn it in, and you fucking party.
And who's about the same size as Mason Graham? Grady Jarrett.
Yep.
So you guys could you could have him learn from Grady and be a factor immediately in a rotation.
I don't think it takes Kenneth Grant out of the equation here, even if Mason Graham is gone.
Yeah.
I would be inclined to take Mason Graham there too. He becomes your 3 technique. Now you can really rotate guys in with that. But I really think they're setting this up to either be pass rusher or offensive tackle. And again, the wild card is Genty. I said I would know how serious they are. I told you all this, especially you patrons, when they came out in free agency. What they did was exactly, let me put up right here. They did an extreme makeover. Okay. You see the question mark next to Jones and how all the other names have nice, bold shadowing, because they're surely locked in Ben. Jones is not. Jones is right now. We might need an addition on the house. And it doesn't include Jones. He becomes the versatile swing tackle. They might love him. But I'm just letting you know what they did there is telling me, especially today, Dalman, Grady Jackson, and Dayo has said, where did they sign him, Ivan? All on the interior. The trenches. It's not cliche.
Right. It's not at all.
And
It's truth.
It opens up the back half of the draft like none other now. Now we can really start to a Fanning, a guy like Fanning, Phil's guy, he's in play now. You could go find a guy. You could now in the back half of the draft start, I won't say reaching, but going after the, some skill players that you think can make an impact for you right away. Like you could find those guys because you took care of what you had to in free agency with the lines. It's not all done yet. Like they still need to do some things in the draft, but in those later rounds, start looking for guys that are going to show up, as skill positions.
I just realized we're doing a show on. Just realized we're doing a show on video. Should we all turn our cameras off and broadcast that way?
Sure. Are we going to walk through the desert as well?
Yeah, count black helicopters. But anyways,
I'm very excited about what it is that they're doing up there today. Now, I always get so nervous because they're not official, as Shane always reminds me. And I've seen in the past, the guy has agreed to go to such and such, the Falcons, wherever. And then the next day, oh, he's had a change of heart. He's going to Miami. I don't sleep well for the next 48 hours. I start worrying about, oh, don't have a change of heart. Like, let's lock this in. Now, Grady could be official because they cut him, right?
Yeah. Yep,
So
he was
the Bears
cut.
can announce that tonight, right?
Yeah, he was released this morning.
All right. Yeah, see? Ryan Cox is right in there. So I'm with you on that one. We know Grady's in the building. We know he's in the building. We don't know the other ones just yet, but it's obviously looking very positive. It's just my own thing. Dalman turned down more money to come to Chicago. I think that needs to be noted. Tooney wanted to be in Chicago. The want word is very important here because
Yeah.
we haven't heard it in the past. Now, TTNL, we have broken down every offensive tackle. This Thursday, we finish off with Grant from William and Mary and Membu. I'm going to cut those because I know Ivan's doing the running backs. He's been cutting those as we go into the next chapter. Now, if you're not a patron, you do not see the all 22 coaches tape analysis. We have Big Steve, Shane, myself, Coach Atoshin Sr.
Olin is coming on.
Olin's going to come on. Ivan at some point is going to jump in there. So you're going to get an in-depth look at not just, it's a Bears focus. So the whole thing is, how do the Bears draft? We know the needs. So yes, tight end is going to be one of the positions we're going to be looking at. So
Yep, Charvarius Ward, corner from San Francisco, just signed a deal in Indy.
I'm just pissed that Hufanga went to the Broncos. God. Two guys I wanted. Hufanga, and once Shane told me there was a Laramie Tunsil trade, I got nervous. But it wasn't to the Bears. I was so, wait, what?
Josiah, watch the beginning of the show. We address where you're 100% wrong. You're reading a tweet from somebody.
Walker.
Yeah.
Is he talking about?
No, Josiah saw a tweet connecting the two and putting up stats, comparing
which Walker?
them.
Our Walker?
Marcus, yes.
Oh, my God.
Stop. And then they just run with it. Again, it's drives me nuts.
It's so annoying, that stuff. They put stats. Then the next move is to take up what is the RAS score, that mushroom cloud graphic of what they did. And they put those next to it. Look, he had similar mushroom RAS score. Look at the statistical. Therefore, they're a match. You're taking out the whole identifying factor of the game. Scheme plays a part in statistics. I know you nerds don't want to hear that, but it does. Trust me.
So this just in from Rap Sheet. The Houston Texans are signing pass rusher Darrell Taylor, formerly of the Chicago Bears. He gets a 1-year deal for $5.25 million. That's what we just said, Mike. We just talked about that.
Mike's not listening. Take the shit out your ears, jackass. Well, where's that from? Jerky Boys. There you go.
The Jerky Boys.
Come on, Mike Huff. Should know better than that. Now, do the Bears surprise us with a wide receiver signing?
I wouldn't be shocked. I brought up the name Dayami Brown, but he ended up signing in. Where did he end up going?
Kwame, but went to Jackson.
Jacksonville, yeah, for a one year, $10 million.
Every receiver, me and you, like, okay,
Yeah,
maybe we're
goes to
gonna
Jacksonville.
every one of them goes there.
Carr's pick at wide receiver that the Bears were going to sign was Darius Slayton, formerly of the Giants.
Still available?
As far as I know, yep.
Former Auburn Tiger, I believe.
Yeah, I looked up his stats, so it might not make any sense because that's clearly what it's all about.
Well, you know, Cooper Kupp, his stats were down. Then he signs. I love Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
Love that sign. Yeah, because you know his name. Good for you.
Josh Dobbs gets a 2-year deal for $8 million in New England to back up Drake May.
Big Josh Dobbs still rolling. He's not an astronaut yet. The UFOs are going around. So is Josh Dobbs. Elijah Moore got signed by the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh man, he fits there.
The running back.
Burner. Yeah. No.
He's a wide receiver.
Yeah. They signed Elijah Mitchell too, also the running
Elijah
back.
Mitchell.
That Kansas City also signed him earlier today.
But Moore wasn't signed by. I just was thinking of Mitchell.
Oh, okay.
Elijah Moore would be a good pick here.
Yeah.
Get some speed.
We talked about that. I would be out on DJ Chark in Chicago. I'm over that. Rondell Moore. I would take a swing.
I like Rondell Moore.
Yep. Don't think it's going to cost you much. There's some talent there. Hasn't seen it in the NFL. Very small, diminutive. If he was white, Phil would probably love him how short he is. Probably too fast though. Too fast. If he was white and slower, Phil would.
Yeah, we gotta love that.
Make him a day one signing.
He's perfect.
I love Ron. When he was coming out of Purdue, we were trying to get him on the show.
Yeah.
Just Greg fucked up and dropped the ball there.
He
Nice
did.
job, Greg.
Fucking Greg with his knee brace. Surprised he doesn't have a cup for fucking sympathy today.
He does.
Yeah. He does.
This is serious knee surgery, you bastards. He's at the Ronald McDonald House.
Oh,
saying, what are you kids with cancer worried about? Have you seen my knee?
Help a kid with a knee injury.
They don't even have a ramp at Taco Bell. I have to go through the drive-through.
The doctor's like, sit down, relax. This dude's everywhere. He's at basketball games. He's saving cats. What else? When are we getting a fucking fullback, Shane? I do have a great.
You might have one in Roshan.
Big Roshan moving.
It might be how he makes the roster.
Oh my God.
You have one in Fanning.
Yeah.
He'll play both.
Yeah. True.
Yeah, he could do it all. That guy.
Tell you, his blocking's the only reason I say that is just because I've seen it.
Harrington, don't post that in here because we're gonna get people running with it. Saying, "Oh, here goes TTNL picking on content creators."
Oh God,
picking on poor Greg Braggs.
Why are you picking on Greg?
Because we can.
That's my buddy. We always someone put a meme up like finally on Instagram. It was like a reel just for notes. Really great friends break each other's chops and are usually really great friends because they do that. I was like, that's the best. I need to share. I put it on my story.
The 3-year-old is out of the studio, so that's why I've been.
I know. I figured what you were doing.
Yeah, my NyQuil dart gun is empty, so I couldn't launch one into her jugular to lay her down for a couple hours. So
just get it a little whiskey and some like juice. And
I drank it all before she got home from daycare, but yeah.
You drank it.
Her mother just took her.
She actually helped you out.
Well, not really. It's not like she's making
I
dinner.
do have a great receiver in later rounds in Efton Chisholm.
Yeah.
Chisel.
Don't make that. Don't screw that name up. Could be in trouble. That's a
Afton
whole
Chisel.
different show.
Eastern Washington wide receiver. I'm a big fan of that kid. Punt returner, slot receiver, great route runner. So he effed and chisholmed, right?
He did.
That's true. Black. Find that out. Listen, if you take Jack is doing that. If you take Banks at 10, PFF's going to give you a D-.
Good. That would make me draft him at 4.
Do me a favor. Take a picture of that and fast when we get 2 years from now.
Yeah.
And Banks is like talked about as the best offensive lineman to come out, and PFF always knew it. What about your fucking draft board, whatever the fuck that thing is? Terrible. Critical drinker, probably one of my favorite guys. PFF is for losers. Ivan, get on the t-shirt. Let's go. I'm rocking that. Right. When I come to Chicago, I'm rocking that. I'm putting critical drinker on the back. I shout him out because that's a great t-shirt.
If you guys did a mock draft right now, I would definitely be more excited about that than the 16-inch Italian from Jimmy John's I'm about to suck down.
Jesus.
Wow. What's his name?
Splip. Phil Splip.
His name's Giuseppe.
Giuseppe. That's right.
What kind of grinder are we talking about here? Do you call them grinders in the Midwest, Ivan?
I don't.
What?
But I'm not in the Midwest.
Do you call them grinders?
What the fuck is a grinder?
Yeah. Hoagies and grinders. Hoagies and grinders.
Oh, the hoagie.
Navy beans. Navy
hoagie?
beans.
They call them
Hoagie, yeah.
grinders here in the East Coast.
We call them subs.
Subs. Like
We have
I call
subs
them
and grinders here.
Subs and hoagies is pretty much what we call them.
We have never heard of hoagie. You know what hoagie stands for here?
Frank
dog.
Hacks with the
Hot dog.
worst
Really?
typo
Quit it.
ever.
Split it.
I think he meant
We're trying to be polite. Grinder.
clit it.
Quit it. It's a dating app. It's
Yeah.
called Quit It.
Yeah. Clit it.
Quit it.
That's what I was thinking. I thought he was talking about. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh,
Grind. You got to. Frank said you got to grind the clip. Make it work.
Oh, I get it. On the East Coast, they call them grinders.
It's like a nubbin. Yeah.
Right.
It's a
Call
nubbin.
them grinders.
Yeah. If you push it enough, their tongue pops out.
Got to get in there with
That's
your
what I've heard.
nose.
Yeah.
Yep. In
So-
Iowa. I guess it skips Chicago area.
Oh.
In Iowa, they have grinders. Iowa.
When you hear that name, what do you think of? Tooch.
Where is Tooch?
He is.
Is he still doing it on the old network?
I think so.
Betting?
So.
Is he in debt?
Either he is or his mother.
Oh, all right.
Oh my God. I miss Tooch.
Yeah, we got
Shout out to Tooch. If I had a drink,
doing good.
doing
Happy?
good, happy. I used to get more drops from Tooch.
Yeah.
Doing good. I'm happy.
Iowa.
Oh, so it's a specific style then.
Oh, Sean Hall,
Yeah. Sounds like
Okay.
too much work.
sandwich artist, is in his resume.
It's all chopped together. I mean, is you talking about all the meats are chopped together, or are you talking about the entire sub? It's like the lettuce with the whatever the hell you're gonna put on it.
The
I don't
meat
know.
is put in, but he's right. The lettuce,
Yeah, you put the
onion,
you
all
always
of that's chopped in a grinder.
you put the meat in first and then you clit it. I mean, it's fucking science.
I know they appreciate the glitter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In New Orleans, they have po' boys.
There you go.
Unfortunately, we have a lot of po' boys here in Connecticut with the taxes. I'll tell you that.
That's true.
Mother,
No. We're very economical, my family.
I go, Angelo. He's like, like Anakin Skywalker. I go, yeah, he turned into Darth Vader. He's like, yeah, you know it. I go, have you seen the new Mandalorian? No, I don't have Disney Plus. We're very economical.
We're very economical, my
I go-
family.
I go, your dad's rich. Tell him to splice a little bit. Splurge on a Disney Plus. Oh, no.
Ivan, we were talking to
told
him
him
on the
Ivan's
phone the
gonna
other
give
day,
him
and
his username and password.
his
He goes,
Angelo's
"Oh, that
dad
would be
got home,
very
and
nice."
he essentially told Angelo, get off the fucking phone. He's like, guys, I gotta go.
Oh god, what is this? The 80s?
You gotta get off the phone.
Get off the phone.
Yeah, you gotta get off the phone. It's gonna be interesting to see what the Chicago Bears continue to do. We'll be live this Thursday breaking down 2 offensive tackles in the draft.
If you are a patron.
If you're a patron, sign up, become a patron.
The tape never lies.
TapeNeverLies.com. Membo. Armand Membo. And we're gonna get to a bunch of your questions before we get out of here. And our guy from William and Mary, Charles Grant, I believe. Yes, Charles Grant from William and Mary. I know Jay,
right?
Just Jay was talking about Charles Grant. You'll see,
right,
Charles Grant as well.
I'm actually
Terry Franklin. Khalil Mack signed a 1-year deal for $18 million to return to the LA Chargers. That was earlier this morning.
Mm-hmm.
I was on the phone with Mr. Atoshin at the time, and
Mr. Atoshin was a little disappointed.
Yeah.
So was Shane.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go ahead and jump off over here.
All right, brother.
Ready, guys. Make sure you guys, clit it. Make sure you guys check out Bear Down with Big Steve tonight.
Are you going to be back on with him tonight?
Yeah, I'll be on tonight. Thank God after that fucking hellacious day I had. God,
they didn't send you home?
No, they sent me home after fucking forever.
Long day.
Long day, but regardless, whatever. Jury duty, it sucks. But later, guys.
All right, brother. Have a great show tonight. Hold it down. It's the great super producer, Ivan Vargas. Become a patron. You'll continue mock drafts Mondays starting next week.
Yep.
Shane, Phil, Ivan, and plenty of mock drafts and patrons at some point will be taking on the mock. Become a patron. Please,
so you got some Raz scores coming in for the Bears signings.
I knew it.
Drew Dalman, Raz score 9.92.
It's a pretty athletic guy, Gary Franklin.
Yes. Drew Dalman, also a fan of New Haven Pizza.
Look at that.
Sorry, Carrie Franklin.
Sorry, Carrie. You're out. James, I'm going to answer some of these questions here. James, what if Banks, Membo are there? Do you steal the left tackle over Genty? Yes, but not with Membo.
Banks, yeah.
With Banks. Phil, do you think Dexter can move to D end? Yes, he can.
Yeah, they used him some out there last year. They're going to do it again this year.
Yeah, it's not his ideal spot, but he can do it. He's shown that he can do it. So, yes. When are you guys breaking down the new? We got to cut the tape.
March 12th, 4:35 p.m. Be there. We will announce it. Yeah.
Takes time.
We have
We're not pulling highlights. Trust me.
Lots of cutting of college prospects going on, but yeah, we will knock that out absolutely, because there's going to be a little bit of a lull here in free agency. And
exactly.
Another, week or so. So we're going to have some time.
We have time once they
we'll
sign.
get it.
We're going to get to it. We're trying to work on 2 things. Draft is very important. Cygnus, X1, $4.99. I'm not the most active member on the network, but I love you guys and try to watch every pop-up show and podcast. Keep doing your thing, boys. Well, thank you
Thank you,
much.
Cygnus. Yeah, and just real quick. So this is what I talked about, Josiah, and I know you just copied the tweet that I mentioned earlier. It's not about stats. They are not the same player. So go back to the beginning of the show. We addressed this. Sign up, be a patron. We're going to break it down and we'll show you why they're different. Even body composition is Dayo is 6'6", 287 pounds. They're not comparable.
And
not.
Dennis Allen is going to be supplying a different kind of philosophy with his personnel on the defensive line. You're already seeing it. So stop with the stat scouts. Don Wanderlei, $4.99. No relation to Art Vandelay.
Arthur Vandelay.
No GM as awful as Poles worked out.
Yeah, ask Howie Roseman if he worked out after he got demoted to the back of the office for a few years in Philly, and they wanted to run him out of town. He came back with a vengeance.
His mistakes. That's what I hoped. You can't, Don. You can't write. You can sit there. I'm optimistic. I'm pessimistic about polls. I'm with you. You can't argue the great start to what they're doing in 2025. Like, as much as I'm with you on polls and I'm on that folded arms, show me, bro. You can't argue what they've done to improve. And it's not just in personnel. It's the coach and the staff and going through the whole process of getting rid and firing the head coach that was here before. So please put that into the GM's responsibilities as well. Don't just live for the appetizers.
Mark Gauthier, $9.99.
Like how you pronounced it.
That's
You're right.
Good day of signings today. Who do you think they should target next? How will this affect draft strategy? Sorry, just joined the stream from England. Yeah, so if you hit rewind, we essentially went over all of that. I don't think it affects too much in the draft, if we're being honest. You can go BPA at the offensive line, BPA at the defensive line. I know there's a lot of love out there for Ashton Genty. It's not where I would go. Some people want to draft Tyler Warren at 10, not where I would go. But what I think doesn't really matter, but I'm gonna give my opinion.
That's what
I'm staying in the trenches. Yeah, that's why I own this bitch. I'm not going anywhere. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate you.
Yeah, I appreciate you.
Oh, this guy's gonna get in fucking trouble. Kerry Franklin. That's 2 shows in a row where he's dropping super chats in here. We're not gonna tell Mama though. Kerry Franklin,
it's a
$10.
monumentous super chat.
This is for the best show. Mama will bitch at me later.
Look at you.
Yeah, we love Kerry Franklin. I'm going to be hanging out with Mr. Franklin in just a couple of days over a month. We're going to the Blackhawks and Montreal Canadiens game. Me and Kerry Franklin, Jim Larison, my son, Alex H is going to be there. Tried to get Phil to go, and he said, "Fuck that. I don't want to hang out with you assholes." So it's very rude of him. Thank you, Kerry, and thank you, Mrs. Franklin.
Question here.
Yeah, so Showtime. Go sign up, be a patron. We just broke him down.
Showtime.
Sunday
we just broke this guy down with Big Steve Edwards, my dad, and myself. And you'll see all the thoughts on Josh Simmons.
Yeah,
I've given you the spoiler alert about Banks already, so we get you there. I love Kerry Franklin.
You had a great day today. She will forgive me.
We both were in a fucking cold water pool.
Yes, they were.
They both.
Kerry got out. I was in the pool.
I was in the pool. Oh God! So next move, Hopefully he's a wide receiver or safety, but they did re-sign one of their own safeties.
Yeah, Tavarius Moore. Yeah,
Tavarius Moore. So
it's more of a. He didn't get any reps at the safety position. More of a special teams guy. But again, you need guys like that. Don't forget they re-signed Ogbem Bamiga, special teamer. Josh Blackwell,
amen.
special teamer.
Josh Blackwell, punt returner as well.
Yep.
Doesn't get enough love there for what he did. Ethan Katz, $5. Hey, fellas, hope this year's finally a turning point. Bear down.
Let's hope.
TTNL is the best there is. Well, Ethan, I so appreciate you. Are you a hoagie guy or a grinder guy? Or a sub guy? That'll be the poll question.
Yeah, it will be. But let's get out of here. We said that
grinder.
We said we were going to go live for about 35 minutes and
never
an hour, a little over hour 16 in. So D. Levine coming in late. Hit rewind. You'll see. We talk about it.
We talk about him, the signing, and the complete extreme makeover that the Chicago Bears are doing under Ben Johnson and Dennis Allen with Ryan Poles and the whole team saying we're going to go after this aggressively and we're going to build the trenches where it matters most. It is not a cliche. If anything, these blog boys need to learn. This is a need beyond need. It's way too long coming, and they've done it. Starting out the gate with the trades, then signing Dalman, getting Grady Jarrett in here. You can't express how that is. Getting alphas in the building, and then a young up-and-coming pass rusher to go into the scheme that Dennis Allen is producing. Don't forget to tune in tonight. What is it? 7:30 East, 6:30 Central. Big Steve Edwards, former Chicago Bear. The Bear Down with Big Steve here on TTNL. Ivan Vargas will be in there. Maybe Shane or myself if another signing.
Maybe we'll stop back for a third time today. We'll see how it goes.
Be yours. Oh, yeah. I technically did go on the other show.
Even though you couldn't see me there halfway through. But
I don't know what happened. If it's just black and all I saw was cars.
We did, Cygnus. We put you up there. We thanked you, and we answered your question.
Well, it was more of a shout out.
Yeah.
Cygnus, thank you again, Cygnus.
Thank you.
I'm going to go out of my way to thank you again, Cygnus, because that was very nice of you. Don't be afraid to be more active. I don't know about this AVI. Is that Hellraiser in his AVI there?
It's a trimmed down Angelo in his AVI.
Angelo's uncle when Angelo got in trouble.
Robert Mays, not a fan of the Grady Jarrett signing.
Robert Mays I'm not a fan of. So
doesn't fit Dennis Allen's scheme. Okay.
Can you explain that one to me?
Good football players? Gross.
Doesn't belong on our menu. We're an Italian restaurant. What? Ravioli. No one.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just, I don't know. I'll never understand it, but.
Well, follow the truth. That's just that's a spike on stupidity. We've had Robert Mays on, and I'll just say, hopefully he'll come back on again and we'll see a better personality. We'll just say that.
We'll get there.
Not starting off on the right foot there.
All right.
Free agency frenzy here at TTNL. Right. The one network, Shane, that stands for the truth above and beyond everything else. Let's get out of here, bro.